Discover the hidden truth about Iran in the Bible now. What if I told you that Iran, yes, the modern nation of Iran, plays a critical role in the grand narrative of prophecy and world events in the Bible? Often when people think of the Bible, they think of Israel, Egypt, and Babylon. Well, what if I told you that Iran, known as Persia in biblical times, was not just another empire, but a nation specifically named in prophecy to shape the destiny of God's chosen people? Iran's biblical origin story is more fascinating than you might imagine. From the lineage of Noah to the reign of Cyrus the Great, the history of the Iranians is intertwined with some of the most pivotal moments in biblical history. But the truly shocking revelation is that God used Persia, a nation of pagan kings, to deliver Israel, rebuild the temple, and fulfill prophecies that were spoken centuries before they were fulfilled. In this video, we'll explore how the Bible reveals the origins of the Iranian people, their rise to power, and their central role in shaping both the Old Testament and prophetic visions of the future. Get ready, because what you're about to learn will change the way you view Iran, not just as a nation in the modern world, but as a key player in God's unfolding plan for the entire world. After the flood, the biblical narrative takes us through three lines of Noah's descendants: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Among Japheth's sons we find Magi, who became the ancestor of the Medes. The Medes later became closely associated with the Persians, together forming the basis of the Medo-Persian Empire, one of the most powerful empires in world history. Magi descendants settled in the region that would become modern Iran. The Persians emerged from the same geographic area and later rose to prominence, but both groups shared a common Iranian ancestry. According to the Bible, the ancestors of the Iranians come from Japheth through Magi, which places the Iranian people in the biblical narrative from the beginning of post-flood history. This connection links the Iranian people to one of the oldest genealogies in the Bible and sets the stage for their significant role in the history of God's chosen people. The rise of Persia and its crucial role in the biblical narrative. The history of Persia is marked by its rise as one of the most powerful and influential empires of the ancient world. Under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, Persia formed an alliance with the Medes and established the Achaemenid Empire, also known as the First Persian Empire. This empire stretched from the Indus River to North Africa, encompassing many of the major regions mentioned in the Bible, including Israel, Babylon, and Egypt. However, Persia's importance goes beyond its military and territorial strength. Its significance lies in the way God used it to fulfill his promises to the Israelites. The Babylonian Empire, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, had conquered Jerusalem in 586 BC, destroyed the temple, and taken the people of Judah into exile. The Israelites remained captive in Babylon for 70 years, as prophesied by Jeremiah. Then came Cyrus the Great, a Persian king who conquered Babylon in 509 BC, and everything changed. The book of Ezra begins with a decree from Cyrus, allowing the Israelites to return to their land and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. This event is recorded in Ezra 14, where Cyrus declares, "The Lord God of heaven has given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build a temple for him in Jerusalem, which is in Judah." Cyrus, a pagan king, had been named more than a century earlier by the prophet Isaiah as the one who would carry out God's will by restoring Israel. Isaiah 4428, Isaiah 451. At this extraordinary moment in biblical history, Persia, a nation outside of God's covenant, became the instrument of divine redemption for its people. This marked a profound turning point for Israel and highlighted Persia's central role in God's plan. Part 3. Cyrus the Great is recognized as one of the most remarkable leaders in ancient history. His rise to power and his actions as king of Persia echo through the centuries as a testament to his greatness and influence. Cyrus was not only a skilled conqueror, but he was also noted for his unique approach to the peoples he ruled. Unlike many rulers of his time, Cyrus adopted a policy of religious and cultural tolerance, allowing the peoples under his rule to maintain their traditions and beliefs. This benevolent approach was essential to ensuring stability and cooperation throughout his vast empire. In addition, Cyrus is remembered for his decree that allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple, thus fulfilling biblical prophecies about his divine mission. His compassionate attitude toward the exiled captives demonstrated not only his political wisdom, but also his willingness to be an instrument in God's hands to restore his chosen people. The figure of Cyrus in the biblical story represents not only a powerful leader, but also an example of how God can use even foreign individuals to accomplish his purposes. Part 4. The Persian Legacy. The role of Cyrus, the Great Cyrus. The Great is an iconic figure in the history of not only Persia, but also the ancient world. His reign was marked by impressive conquests and an innovative approach to governing his vast empire. Cyrus was not only a skilled military leader, but also distinguished himself by his political and humanitarian vision. By conquering Babylon in 539 BCE, Cyrus not only expanded Persian dominions, but also changed the course of history forever. His policy of religious and cultural tolerance was unusual for the time and contributed significantly to the stability of his empire. In addition, Cyrus is remembered for his famous decree that allowed the exiled Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple, thus fulfilling biblical prophecies about his divine mission. His benevolence as a ruler and his willingness to be used by God as an instrument of redemption for his chosen people highlights Cyrus' importance in biblical and world history. Part 5. The story of Esther, the role of a Persian queen in protecting God's people. The book of Esther is a fascinating account of how God used a Persian woman, Esther, to thwart a plot to genocide against the Jews. During the reign of King Xerxes I, also known as Ahasuerus in the Bible, an official named Haman conspired to exterminate all the Jews in the Persian Empire. Influenced by hatred, Haman managed to convince the king to issue a decree that would allow the massacre of the Jews. However, through divine providence, Esther, a young Jewish woman who had become Queen of Persia, found the courage to intercede on behalf of her people. Supported by her uncle Mordecai, Esther revealed her Jewish identity to the king and pleaded for the lives of the Jews. The famous verse, "Who knows whether you were made queen for this very purpose?" highlights the importance of Esther's role in God's plan to protect the Jews. King Xerxes was informed of Haman's treachery and reversed his earlier decree, allowing the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies. The story of Esther is celebrated annually during the Jewish festival of Purim as a reminder of God's power and faithfulness in preserving his people even in the midst of the darkest plots. Part 6. Persian in Prophetic Visions. The book of Daniel reveals powerful visions about the future of world empires, including Persia. In chapter 2, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of a statue made of different materials, symbolizing successive empires. The statue's silver chest and arms represent the Medo-Persian Empire, which would succeed Babylon as the dominant power in the ancient world. Later, in chapter 7, Daniel has a vision of 4 beasts representing 4 successive empires. The second beast, a bear reared up on one side, symbolizes the Medo-Persian Empire, highlighting its dual nature and the combined strength of the Medes and Persians. This empire would be vast, and its expansion, especially under Cyrus, would forever alter the course of history. Another significant vision involving Persia is found in chapter 8 of Daniel, where the prophet sees a ram with 2 horns representing the Medes and Persians advancing in all directions and conquering vast territory. However, the vision also includes a goat with a prominent horn, symbolizing Greece and its king, Alexander the Great, who would eventually conquer the Persian Empire. These visions place Persia at the center of God's prophetic timeline, showing that the rise and fall of empires were not historical accidents, but part of God's plan. The time of Persia's influence was prophesied to give way to the rise of Greece, but it was during the Persian reign that God's people experienced deliverance and restoration. thus fulfilling the prophecies of Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. Part 7. The lasting impact of Persian culture on the ancient world. The influence of Persian culture transcended the borders of their empire and left an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Persians were known for their cultural wealth, refined art, and political sophistication. Under the reign of the Achaemenid kings, Persia flourished as a center of learning and innovation. The Persian capital, Persepolis, was a testament to the empire's architectural grandeur and artistic splendor. Persian kings encouraged cultural and religious diversity within their domains, creating an environment of tolerance that was unique for the time. This policy of respect for differences contributed to the cohesion of the empire and the exchange of ideas between different peoples. In addition, the Persians developed an efficient administrative system that influenced future empires, such as the Roman Empire. Their art, literature, and traditions were passed down through the centuries, shaping the cultural identity of distant regions. The legacy left by the Persians is a testament to their cosmopolitan vision and their lasting legacy in the history of humanity. Part 8. The Magi, the Persian connection to the birth of Jesus. The story of the Magi, or wise men, is an iconic part of the account of the birth of Jesus, as recorded in the Gospel of Matthew. These wise men from the East, often associated with the Persian tradition of Zoroastrians, followed a star to Bethlehem to worship the newborn King of the Jews. Tradition suggests that the Magi were students of the stars and practitioners of astrology, an influential field of study in ancient Persia. Their journey to Bethlehem highlights the universal significance of Jesus' birth and how people from different cultures and backgrounds were drawn to witness this divine event. The fact that the Magi recognized the significance of the star as a divine sign points to the way God used elements familiar to the Persians, such as astrology, to reveal his redemptive plan through the birth of Christ. Thus, the presence of the Magi in the Christmas narrative not only highlights the connection between Persian and Jewish cultures at that time, but also symbolizes the universality of the message of salvation brought by Jesus. Part 9. The continuing influence of modern Iran on the current world stage. Iran, formerly Persia, continues to play a significant role in the contemporary world, especially in international relations and geopolitics. As one of the oldest and most historically rich nations in the Middle East, Iran maintains a prominent position on the global stage. Its strategic location, abundant natural resources, and cultural influence make it a regional power with an impact far beyond its borders. In the current context, tensions between Iran and other world powers, such as the United States and Israel, have generated significant repercussions in terms of global security and political stability. In addition, Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons has raised concerns around the world and sparked debates on nuclear proliferation and international security. Iran's position as a key player in the Middle East makes its actions and policies of vital importance to the region and the global balance of power. As the world closely watches developments in Iran, it is crucial to understand the complexities of Iranian history and politics in order to anticipate their future impact on international relations. Part 10. Iran in End-Time Prophecy. Many scholars and theologians believe that Iran, known in Bible prophecy as Persia, will play a pivotal role in the events leading up to the end of time. One of the most significant prophecies involving Iran is found in Ezekiel 3839, where the prophet describes a coalition of nations that will turn against Israel in the last days. Among these nations is Persia, which will join Gog of Magog and other peoples in a massive battle known as the War of Gog and Magog. This prophecy, often seen as an event yet to occur, depicts a final confrontation between the forces of evil and God's people, with Israel at the center of the conflict. While the exact nature and timing of this war remain matters of debate, the inclusion of Persia, modern-day Iran, in this prophecy suggests that its influence in the region will continue to have spiritual significance in the last days. Furthermore, Daniel's prophecies about the rise and fall of empires, including Persia, point to a larger theme of God's sovereignty over nations. Persia's role in Bible prophecy demonstrates that no empire, no matter how powerful, is beyond God's control. He raises nations up and tears them down according to his divine plan. As we witness modern events in the Middle East, including tensions between Iran and Israel, it is essential to remember that these events are part of a much larger story, a story that began in the pages of the Bible and will culminate in the fulfillment of God's promises. The story of modern Persia, Iran, and the Bible is one of the most remarkable examples of how God can use even the most unlikely nations to accomplish his divine purposes. Sign up now so you don't miss any details of this incredible biblical story about Iran. Thanks for watching. Share this video to spread this incredible revelation about Iran in the Bible.